Hi job seekers and UX transitioners. The UX job market has been pretty brutal since the end of 2022, but hopefully this video can give you some tips on how to break into the market. I've been asked numerous times from fellow bootcampers how I landed my first job in UX in 2023, so I thought I'd share 5 pieces of advice here. For some background, my name is Kay, and I've been a UX designer for 2 years. I joined Design Labs Bootcamp back at the end of March of 2022 and got a job offer by June of 2023. So it took about 15 months from the start of the bootcamp to the job offer. Prior to UX, I was a government analyst for 4 years after having graduated university in 2018. I don't know about other boot camps, but to be very honest, my experience at Design Lab was quite mid. It did a good job of keeping me accountable to my learning and case studies, but the teaching and the lessons themselves were either outdated or just not enough. I can make another video reviewing Design Lab if you guys like, but just know that my overall opinion is neutral. I think it's good to pay some money, just not too much to force you to have skin in the game, because otherwise you're prone to falling back on your excuses and being complacent. Now, the biggest elephant in the room is yes, the job market is extremely competitive and will continue to be that way. That's not to say that you shouldn't even try or that it's impossible. It's still very possible, so please don't give up. And this one is big, and I was definitely guilty of this, but refrain from going onto LinkedIn every hour of every day. I became addicted to the doom and gloom of how UX is dead, or that the golden years of tech are behind us. So make sure to protect your own mental health and limit your LinkedIn exposure. It'll only make you more pessimistic and envious of those who finally land a UX job while you're still submitting your 500th application. My first piece of advice is to ignore big tech and just focus on your niche. Don't go for the flashy perks and brand name right away. What will help you more is to sit down and understand which field of industry you already have some experience in. You don't even need a lot. A couple months and an internship will do. The more experience you have in something, though, the better. So for me, I had 4 years of government experience, and although I swore to be as far away from the government as possible, the reality is that that's where my experience is in, so it's up to me to leverage that and get my foot in the door. I spoke about how I understand federal policy and regulations, that I already know government tech and terminology and how things operate, that I'm willing to go into the weeds of bureaucracy to create designs to help my fellow citizens. What you need to do is to double down on your past experiences and reframe them to help show that you can succeed as a UX designer. So if you're a teacher, look up educational companies and apply for UX positions there. Teachers have an exceptional ability to be patient with clients, like they are to their students, have great active listening skills, and often excel at presentations, which is an extremely necessary skill as a UX designer, since you're basically presenting your designs 80% of the time, whether that be to the clients or to your own team members or the developers, so that everyone is on the same page about how your designs directly solve the business's X, Y, and Z problems. If you are or were in healthcare or have healthcare experience, talk about how you actively listen to a patient's needs beyond what they told you, like their nonverbal cues. Speak about your empathy skills and how you came up with a treatment plan. You're in healthcare, so you must be detail oriented. Talk about how that benefits your meticulous designs. What factors did you have to consider? In UX, it's not just about the best looking design, but knowing what the business needs are, what contract boundaries there are, and what technical limitations are you working under. How you were a part of a medical team and dealing with the stresses of being under pressure, but still doing what's best for the patient, aka your client, really matters. And if you're a mom, bonus points. Seriously, mothers have all the skills I have just mentioned and more. They have resiliency, tenacity, and a level of pain tolerance that most of us don't have. And if you're brand new to the workforce and have no work experience yet, then I highly recommend going for an internship and getting any work experience possible. You're so young. That is your advantage. Show your hunger, show your initiative, and the learnings off of LinkedIn. The cringier the better, trust me, and always iterate on your portfolio. My point is that it's up to you to go back into your work internship catalog, pick out examples that you can narrow in on and talk about that, show that you have those qualities to succeed as a UX designer. It's way more important to get your foot in the door than to go for some big flashy tech job. Don't spray and pray. Don't send out hundreds of applications to the void or spend any time on one-click applications. Find your niche and double down. My second tip is to apply to underserved and underrated fields. Now, this sounds contradictory to my last point since I kept harping on applying where you'll fit best, but like with anything else, it's the areas of neglect that offer the most opportunity. In this case, there are certain fields that are more likely to yield higher hit rates, at least offer more interviews, than others simply because they are in need of the manpower. Now, based on what I've seen, the fields that need more UX help than others would be the government, nonprofits, education, and healthcare. In the government, well, the salary is definitely lower, and the US culture isn't strong. There's still a lot of red tape everywhere you go, and there's a lot of fossilized thinking upheld by the people there. Let's be honest, all government workers are just looking forward to their cushy retirement and pension plans, so your fresh energy and suggestions might cause some friction since you're going against the grain. It's the least glamorous of the fields, I think, but also the most stable, and arguably has the most impact. That said, civic tech is growing, so don't limit yourself to just the federal government. Look at your state and local governments. Everyone is looking to the fact that UX and governments everywhere are in need of UX help. So nonprofits, this is similar to the government in that the salary is lower and things move slower around there, but there's a lot of impact that can be made. You're also surrounded by dreamers and do-gooders, so that's a bonus. The third field is education. Education companies are all looking for designers to help them enhance the classroom experience. Some focus on connecting the parents to their children's education like Blackboard, tracking students' performance, or how best to engage students, whether that be in the classroom or online. Not to mention the powerhouse players like Khan Academy, Coursera, Udemy, and Skillshare. Education, presenting information, helping people learn new skills, those are the things that will never not be important. So education is pretty high on the UX design list. And lastly, healthcare. Think about the rise of telehealth and telemedicine. ZocDoc will surely face more competition in the near future because doctors also face lots of burnout and need more work-life balance. There's also billion-dollar industries invested in health and wellness like Headspace and Calm. Health insurance companies and medical device companies all need designers to help them create interfaces to interact with their patients. Although we don't feel it, the world on the whole is getting richer, and with that means more people caring about their health and wellness, which is why we're all a lot more willing to spend on gym memberships, fitness classes, and Strava memberships than ever before. Getting into healthcare UX will become increasingly popular. What I'm trying to prove to you guys is that there's an abundance of opportunities out there if you look beyond LinkedIn postings and what's flashy. Get creative and find problems that you like to help solve. My third piece of advice is to have 2 case studies max in your portfolio. For entry-level positions, recruiters and hiring managers have at most 30 seconds to look at your portfolio, if not less, so only give them 2 choices. It's more than enough for them to determine whether or not they want to give you an interview. It doesn't matter what you choose, mobile, desktop, both or just one. The point is that you're able to speak about them with equal enthusiasm and clarity. Each case study shouldn't be a thesis long. They should be as short and sweet as possible to demonstrate process. This means breaking out of the cookie cutter mold and showing what research artifacts had the biggest impact on your solution and how your design addressed a real user need. Hiring managers like to see you go from an idea on a sheet of paper to talking to real users, creating wireframes, iterating on the wireframes, and then testing your final prototype. They need to see that you understand that design is not linear. The wireframes you made will never be the best solution, so how did you incorporate user feedback? Are there any design principles that you had to rethink or even break? Tell them with some metrics like increasing user sign-ins by 25%, by implementing X, Y, and Z changes, or decreasing user drop-off rate by redesigning a form. People react to numbers, so give them something to chew on. Each case study should be polished by at least 2 other designers. Now, I highly recommend going to ADP List to get feedback on your case study. That said, take whatever feels true to you. Whatever a senior designer tells you isn't the Bible, so even if they tell you to remove something, like a research artifact, if you feel that artifact had an outsized influence on your design solution, then keep it. Just always show your informed thinking and process and practical design solution. My fourth piece of advice is to network, but don't overdo it. Network, but don't be that person that makes so many extremely superficial connections that you don't even have one connection who'd be willing to give you a referral. Find people you actually like and want to become. Find people who are like you, maybe an alumnus or someone who's a similar background to you. Maybe they wrote a blog post or a LinkedIn post that resonates with you. Don't be shy to comment directly on it and share your thoughts. You never know if a simple message could kickstart a longer conversation that could lead to something down the road. Don't be afraid to reach out and cold connect with someone either. They might just say yes. Most companies give out referral bonuses, so be that person who they wouldn't mind putting in a referral for. When approaching strangers on LinkedIn, be concise and specific. Don't send generic messages like, hey, I saw you work at Google. I'm also interested in working at Google, and I was wondering if I could grab some time with you. There's zero personality to that, and the ask is not specific. Be smart and go for low quantity but high quality messages. Mention things like how you both transitioned from healthcare to UX. Talk about how a work stream in their company works on problems you're interested in too. Find a way to relate to them, but don't force it either. Don't go right to asking them about how to land a job at their company, and instead take the time to understand what the design culture and environment is like at that company. Spend some time and get them to talk about themselves. Be genuinely interested in the person you're reaching out to because they're actually a very interesting person. They have a story too, so let them share it. You might be the person they think of when an opportunity arises. So, my last piece of advice is to volunteer if you can. And I know this is a super privileged thing to do because everyone has bills to pay and not everyone gets to live with their parents like I do. You might be a new father, have chronic health conditions, or caretaking responsibilities that prevent you from volunteering. But if you can, please volunteer. I was able to talk about my UX volunteering experience and what it taught me about working in a UX team that ultimately ended up impressing my hiring manager. At the time, I had my full time job, my design bootcamp, and part time photography job, but I prioritized my volunteering because I really needed real world UX experience to have something to talk about. It was only about 3 months long, but just enough to show my commitment to this new career. So I highly, highly recommend volunteering, and the place I went to is called Tech Fleet. But there are others that I've heard of, so I'll be sure to put links in the description. You can also always walk up right to your local coffee shop, bike shop, local bar, dance studio, mechanic shop, barber shop, tailor shop, or other small businesses and offer free design services to get more real world experience. Even if they don't want you, who says you can't just do it anyways? You're free to show them what you created afterwards and see whether or not they like it. And even if they don't, it's just more reps under your belt. More practice is always good. And really, lastly, now, take breaks. Seriously. Job hunting is extremely exhausting. I would note in the past 6 years, I've job hopped 3 times, and UX was the most taxing of them. Just like our lives, it's a marathon and not a sprint. The goal is to keep playing, not throw in all your chips at once and hope for the best. Make sure to schedule in your breaks, really. Like remind yourself to drink water, set reminders to go on breaks, like walking. This is crucial. And just like friends, aim for low quantity but very high quality applications that truly fit your past experience and your interests and your future career. Some final reminders are you do not need to understand the ins and outs of AI and be an expert. You don't need to be a Figma wizard. Your portfolio doesn't need flying animations and super cool interactions. It won't take a lot to show some of your personality, but just make sure you do have some of it in there. Simplicity is key, and fundamentals never go out of style. People will always choose someone who's willing to learn, work well within a team, and always willing to take responsibility and ownership. Attitude cannot be taught. And lastly, I intimately know how crushing it is feeling like you have so much enthusiasm. If only someone would just give you a chance, that you steal the moon and back if the recruiters would just give your profile a second glance. And just when you're getting dangerously sick from eating your 40th ice cream tub and wondering when the last time you showered was, right before you fill out your resume for the 3,000th time because that stupid automatic resume filler is always busted, step away from your laptop, uncrinkle your hand claw, straighten your hunched back and let go of that mouse. Stand up and force yourself to take that 10-minute walk. Let the sun bathe your face and feel its warmth. Smell the summer air, full of possibilities. Remind yourself that the universe is truly on your side. Don't play life in hard mode. Choose to be kind to yourself. This is your reminder that you are truly enough, that rejection is not a reflection of your self worth or what you're capable of bringing into this world. You are valuable exactly as you are, and it's just a matter of time before it's your turn. Do your part and let the universe take care of the rest. The companies you're looking at, they have to pick somebody, so why can't that somebody be you? If you know it in your bones that you want to be a UX designer, you only need one yes. So I hope that you keep going and don't give up on yourself. But also make sure to always take the time to take care of your mental, physical, and emotional well being. Feel free to comment below where you're at on your UX journey. And thanks for watching my first ever YouTube video. I hope you found it helpful. See you in the next one. Bye for now.